gentlemen, what is up? And this is Player 2. Sorry if that was a very awkward slap together intro where I literally just played trap violin, but hey, I'm trying to improve, have very little means to do so, but without further ado, let's talk about Symmetra. I really like Symmetra too, and I'm actually looking forward to this. Let's go over her abilities, and this time, guys, because I no longer have that 15-minute restriction that I used to have when my channel was not verified, I can now look at the wiki and take my time when I do shit. So we're going to go over everything in a little more depth than usual. So first of all, we have the photon projector, which is a short-range beam weapon with increasing damage. Which what this is, I think the total distance. Actually, I have it right in front of me. It is a automatically tracking beam that works up to 5 meters, as you can see right here on the little space indicator right there. So the maximum distance you're going to get off of this thing is 5 meters. Now, it has 3 different damages as far as I'm aware. That being, it increases from 30 to 60 to 120. Because you kind of saw the momentum. It was like, da, da, da. Here, let's just focus on the health bar. Da, da, da. It just, massively increases near the end there because it's reaching its maximum damage potential. So it kind of goes up like tick, tick, tick. So that's kind of how that works. That's its full distance. And your secondary fire is this weird little projectile. Now, there's a few specific applications for this projectile. It goes through shielded characters, for example, Winston's barrier and Reinhardt's shield. And it's kind of a fun little projectile just to charge up and spit out, just as a, way to kind of just toss it into team fights, because as Symmetra, you're not going to be engaging in a lot of team fights, and we're definitely going to get into that. Now, going over the damage of the charge, at fully charged, it does 125 damage. Now, I don't know the other damages in between those damages. Maybe there's a bunch of sub damages as well. Maybe there's a half charge damage. I mean, we could kind of practice that. But ultimately, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to charge this baby up and just launch it. So, just to reiterate, 125 fully charged, 25 uncharged. So if you just shoot out a projectile, that's only going to do 25 damage. Not really effective at all. It's not something you're going to generally want to do when you're using the L2 projectile. Now, moving on to her her ultimate rather, the teleporter. Now, the teleporter does have a limited amount of uses. It has a health of 200. It has 6 total uses, which a lot of people don't know. But the teleporter is not a permanent thing. It does actually go away. And this actually caught me off guard in one of the games that I'm going to be showing you as Symmetra. Charge required 800 points. I don't know what that means. It charges relatively quickly when people are falling into your turrets or if you're just attacking the enemy. So it's actually a pretty damn good utility, and it's also one of the only ults in the game that really has this type of application. So it's pretty dope, I'd say. You can just kind of put it wherever, and if you die, rule of thumb is you can teleport right back using the teleporter. Oh my god, that is fucking off the chain. Now, another thing we have to go over to is her photon shield. Now let me go over to the photon shield stats real quick. It gives each player a plus 25 shield. Now this isn't a lot, and it won't make much of a difference, but especially for characters like Tracer, maybe a diva got caught out of her mech or something. Having that extra 25 health can prevent them from getting just body shot killed by one of the sniper characters, which could be a big difference between life and death for those characters. And it just generally helps. Having a 25 shield, if someone's chip damaging off to the side, and that's all that becomes of it, you'll just get the shield back, It's just a cute little support ability. Now, the most important application of Symmetra is the sentry turret, and this is kind of the whole like point of this character, is that you're putting these bad bitches out. And the only thing I can really tell you is space your turrets generously so that they do damage with each other, but the enemy team is going to have a harder time destroying them. So for example, when you're putting down turret positions, scatter them to where it takes more than just one like shot to just kill all of your turrets, or like a scattered shot, whatever. Like if Reaper can use his shotgun spray to kill all of your turrets, you're doing it wrong. Or if Pharah or Junkrat can use the blast radius of their explosives to destroy all your turrets, you're generally doing it wrong. Also, you want to put them in places where enemies cannot immediately see them at distance either, because snipers will gladly take out these turrets. You can only have 6 at a time, so don't put more than 6 on the field unless you're trying to reposition the turrets themselves into a different location. That would be the point of doing that. So never place more than 6 turrets. You're ending up just eating your turrets for no real reason. You might as well have the charge just in case if one of them gets blown up, you could easily replace them. So now that we've covered all of the ability, actually let me go over the stats of the mini turrets real quick. I do quite like the mini turrets. They have a health of 1, so they hit it all. If you sneeze on them, if you look at them the wrong way for too long, they will explode. They do 25 damage per second, but what makes them deadly is the fact that you can have multiple attacking a single target at a time. So 25, 25, 25, 25, like let's just say 25 times 4, that's 100 damage a second. If all of these turrets, I believe, are, attacking their target. But again, what makes them even the real thing that makes them deadly is the fact that they slow. So if an enemy goes into a room, they're going to be slowed, which is going to make them more vulnerable, not just for you to kill them, but for everybody else to kill them as well. It's a huge team help. It's one of the reasons I think Symmetra is actually underplayed, but is actually very good. In fact, I actually think her global win ratio, and I think this is a PC statistic, not a political correct statistic, I mean like the gaming PC. I mean the gaming PC. Her overall win average is actually 60% globally, which is pretty damn good, and I think I understand why. Basically, Symmetra, if she runs wild, or if people don't know how to deal with the turret, she's an absolute monster, but it kind of really depends on the enemy team almost exclusively. And I guess I'll get into that in a second. I should probably get rid of these damn turrets, but hey. They're just going to do what they do, I guess. But let's go into some like battle strats with Symmetra, because I feel like if you don't know when and when not to Symmetra specifically, you're going to get fucked up. And it'll just be in general just a very nasty experience for you. So what am I trying to fucking say? Basically, when you are playing Symmetra, you are probably the worst 1v1er in the game if you are not being supported by your turrets. So first gameplay tip of the day, stay relatively close to your turrets and don't run away from them that often. You'll actually see in the gameplay section today me make this mistake several times, because I like just picked up this character and I like immediately kind of had some trouble with her, and then when I kind of figured out like how to use her, I was like, oh shit, she's actually fairly useful. So, you want to basically stay around your turrets, and you want to engage enemies when their priority is elsewhere. So basically, if you see the enemy engage one of your teammates, that's when you go in as Symmetra. That's when you're like, oh shit, I'm going to get my damage in. And what you want to do upon approach, and if you can get this off, and this is really, really good, is if, say, a Winston or a Reinhardt is fighting the said teammate, you want to charge this up, get as close as you can to them, and let it go. That's how you want to start the fight, and then you want to proceed to just hold R2 for as long as possible. Now, if you are ever put in a situation where you have to fight as Symmetra versus another character in a single room, there is a semi-viable strategy that you can use, though it's still kind of like, it's still very, very, like, likely that you were going to die if you were caught without your turrets. What this technique is basically, if the enemy is trying to just shoot you at point blank or something like that, what you want to do is you want to actually claw your controller and use the X button to jump your right, or, like, how do I explain claw? Basically, what claw is your ring finger is on your right trigger, or R2 button. Your middle finger is on your R1 button. And your pointer finger is to the side, kind of pointing towards you. And you're using the side of your pointer finger to press X. And what this does is it frees up your thumb to allow you to adjust for the aim. So what this allows you to do is you can constantly just jump up and down and keep a constant circle around your target. And if you master this little claw jump strat, it can actually help you a lot. Is it necessary 100% of the time? No. In fact, if the enemy backpedals, this becomes unviable. But this is definitely something to consider when you're fighting a character who's like say Soldier 76 is trying to get his heal off because he's low, and he's like, oh, it's Symmetra, I can take Symmetra. No, he can't, because you'll be able to keep him in that radius, and you'll be able to just jump around in circles and track him with that, while using your ring finger to hold R2. So, that's a fun little strategy I just wanted to show you. It's very console specific. Keyboard and mouse players aren't going to utilize this. That's why this is a console guide, of course. But hey, that's basically all I wanted to cover. I'm going to get into counters and such once I start up the gameplay. And the gameplay is going to be a bit longer today, guys, because I really do feel like Symmetra isn't primarily a fighting character. She is more of a turret support after all, so you're going to get to see me play some turrets and get into some fights where I win and lose. I'm going to cut out some of the time between deaths, stuff like that. But I've rambled too long. Let's just go. Let's just go. And guys, welcome to the gameplay. I kind of had it's kind of early in the morning for me, so I definitely want to go over some of the points I left back in the lab during the gameplay segment, because it is a much longer one today. So I definitely want to go over some points again, like for example, how to play Symmetra. I'm going to kind of summarize all of that up to you, or the implications and uses of Symmetra, let's say. Basically, Symmetra primarily is used to divert the team's attention. So when you have those mini turrets down, they either serve the purpose of straight up killing someone who enters a room, or they serve the purpose of getting them to destroy those turrets. That's why I said earlier on you want to spread them out, because if you're using her that way to just distract people, you want them to spend as much time on your turrets as possible, like basically leaving them open for a gank, or for your teammates to just eat them up, get that kill in. Things of that nature. When you play Symmetra, you do not ever want to just rush at someone and just start attacking, especially if your teammates are not there to help compensate for some of your damage until that charge comes up, because you're squishier than shit and you don't have an evasive of any nature. So basically, don't run out in the field, stick close to your turrets, and only run out when your teammates, for example, you only want to attack someone when their focus is elsewhere. If they're focused on your teammate, if they're shooting down your tank, if they're attacking another support, that's when you want to move in, when their back is basically turned towards you, because this is going to allow you to get your charge up while they try to manage to kill your teammate. And a lot of the times, you'll actually get that full 120 charge, and that person will die because of that. So, do not ever rush into combat as Symmetra. That is a huge mistake. That is a huge, flaw in strategy. See, I do it here, and look, I die. Granted, Soldier did get the kill. I thought I was going to win because Soldier, so it wasn't a complete bonehead decision. So, just combat awareness is really the only skill gap with Symmetra. I just wanted to make sure that was clear. It basically knowing when and where to put turrets, how fast you can deploy the turrets, not forgetting not to do so. I remember when I was playing Symmetra earlier, I would forget to actually drop my turrets when they charge. So things of that nature could definitely fuck you up. Also, remembering to shield your partners can be pretty good, but that's not really anything I'd think you'd forget to do at this point. Now, talking about your ideal matchups as Symmetra, I think by a large extent Lucio is one, because your turrets are going to slow him down, and he can't really spam jump. So the team could either really wipe him with your turrets being activated and such, and you can get the charge on him because, you know, he's being slowed by those turrets. The other person that is a very good matchup for you are tracers who don't really deal with your sentries, as well as Genji, because Genji's reflect does not deflect your charge beam attack, you know, your R2, but I think it can deflect your orbs, so just be mindful of that. I wouldn't start a fight with a Genji by hitting him with the charged orb, just rushing up to him and letting that orb go. That usually wouldn't work, especially if he has that deflect up. You're going to take all that damage, and that's more than half your health, guys. So do keep that in mind when you're fighting Genjis. And essentially anyone who doesn't deal with your turret is kind of going to die to you. I mean, that's the harsh fact of life, because if you have a good turret setup, you're doing a lot of damage. And you're also slowing them, making them a very easy target for your teammates. Now, who would I say absolutely wipes the floor with you? Basically anyone who is smart enough not to get killed by your turrets. And I know that can be kind of unappealing to a lot of people, but Symmetra sustain kind of relies on the team itself, your team's ability to push back, your team's ability to actually fight and take shots and take advantage of your turrets. So basically any character can kind of counter you if they're aware of your turrets, except for, like, again, Lucio, and even to an extent Genji if he misses a lot. So just keep that in mind. You see here, I'm taking full advantage of my team being there, jumping on crates and stuff, making sure I get that Winston. Nice shit. I really like this gameplay. Though I did want to showcase more of it, because I feel like a lot of Symmetra gameplay isn't just raw kills and fights. It's placements and shit as well. And maybe you can get some ideas of where how placement should work, and when to deal with people, things of that nature. Now, how do I feel about Symmetra? I'm going to review her anecdotally and, of course, like, objectively, how I think she's going to perform in the game. I personally like Symmetra. I kind of hate her design, aside from the Vishkar and Architect skin. So if you don't have those skins, I feel like she just looks kind of derpy. I think the dress looks weird, and so does the visor. But the Vishkar and the Architect skins seem to be like... Or is it Vishwani? I don't remember what that other skin's called. But her design looks kind of jank outside of that. I think she's fun to play. In fact, I was kind of getting a little stale. Like I was starting to feel like the game was a bit stale, because I've been playing the same maps and the same characters, blah, blah, blah. And then I picked up Symmetra. I'm like, this kind of changes the game. Like, she's very different from everyone else. So if the game's getting stale, I can definitely recommend Symmetra. Now let's move on to the objective, how useful I think Symmetra is. Now, right off the bat, I gotta give her, like, on my little, like, from 1 to 5 stars of usefulness, versatility, and, yeah, basically how often can you use Symmetra, how effective is Symmetra when you use her. I have to give her a 2.5 star, and the reason I gotta give her a 2.5 stars is because she is a literally 50-50 split character, guys. There are times where you can absolutely body a team as Symmetra. Like, people just can't deal with her. They're not smart enough to deal with her or whatever, and you just get fed. Your turrets just get fed the entire game, and you're sitting there just laughing maniacally because they refuse to deal with it. And it's the funniest shit. And the other times you'll feel the opposite. You'll go into a round and you'll just get bodied over and over and over again. And people will just deal with your turrets like they knew they were there from the start. Like, it's crazy how that kind of works with the character, or like that's really how I feel about the character. I mean, general rule of thumb is you obviously don't want to play Symmetra when you're on an offensive point, like if you're pushing a payload, like things of that nature, it's going to be kind of useless. And also, certain maps don't jive with Symmetra at all. Usually if it's a capture the point on a large map. See, I made the same mistake there. I attacked Diva when she didn't pick another target. Got myself killed. But I digress. We were reviewing the character. So yeah, certain maps are definitely harder to use for Symmetra, but in a large part, you can get away with defending with her almost all the time. She's usually useful. She can help push back a Reinhardt team. She just has, like, a lot of fucking uses, guys. but they're all defensive uses. She has no like push payload, offensive. I would never use her on attack. But she can also be used on capture the point. And I feel like a lot of people don't play Symmetra on capture the point. You definitely should. She's pretty fucking awesome. I really enjoy playing Symmetra on capture the point, especially if the map kind of adheres to it, because you can like make the point like a little death trap, and if your teammates play inside the point non-stop, it puts the enemy in a position where they have to enter that point. And I think there's a game coming up here where I literally just don't die because that is the case, and they never deal with my turrets. Anyways, guys, that's how I feel about Symmetra. Let me know if I left anything out. I didn't really go over like placement specifically. I didn't like go to maps and show you those points. I'm sure there are other guides that allow you to do that, but I feel like you're smart enough to kind of deduce these things yourself, where to place teleporters, generally in places where you don't think the enemy's going to be, and that's going to reduce the time of your spawn or your run back time to the objective or the enemy team. Anyways, that's all I got to say. Let's just watch the gameplay and let it play out. I personally like Symmetra. I think she's dope. I like playing his AS. I'm actually gonna pick her up more. I think she's that fun. And like these are all competitive matches, guys. These aren't like pub lobbies. Like, she can be very useful. And I think it's important to know when to switch when you're a Symmetra as well. Like, knowing when you're like, okay, the team just knows how to deal with Symmetra. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing with Symmetra that might cause her to get buffed or, you know, adjusted in the future, is when people really change the meta based on, you know, just being aware of the character. Like, when more people learn how to deal with her. Because she's not that played that often in console, I don't feel. And when she is, she's usually bodied. But if you follow these principles, you can do some pretty fun shit. I had some pretty good support this round, too. I'm not going to lie. Our Mercy was on fleek. Our Mercy was on fleek. She healing asses. I'm just putting up fucking turrets because I almost forgot to do so. Man. Play some Symmetra, guys. Symmetra's great. Look, this Reaper ran out of bullets, so I actually ended up getting the kill. That was pretty funny. So yeah, it's just you and me in the gameplay, guys. I do feel it's necessary, though. You could definitely leave if you want. I certainly fucking wouldn't leave. Look at this. This is just fun as shit. I really do think it's important to show off like all the principles and practice, and it's a good thing I got my account verified so I could like post longer content, because I think Symmetra does need some explaining. Like, in order to see her, it's not like I didn't do a kill montage with her. That'd be pointless. So I decided to just feature pretty much all of the gameplay. See, look, Torbjorn's helping me out, so I decided to go in. And Diva's out of her mech. That's not a good stitch for her. Oh, Tracer pushed me off, though. I was about to say, I'm about to get fed. Body block for my Genji. Oh, it actually paid off. That was pretty cool. Alright, yeah, Diva's dead. If she's that close to you when she leaves her mech, she's pretty fucked. Wow, that was pretty fucking awesome. You see what I did there is I lined it up to where when he was leaving, he would just run right into it, and that's exactly what happened. That was pretty fucking cool. Some of the plays I make, I almost feel like are a mistake. Like, it's like, oh, I made a great play. Well, I didn't mean to. It just kind of happened. But that's Overwatch. That's the fun of Overwatch, I think. But as you can see, guys, the team had to switch their priorities up, and it kind of allows me to just lob those projectiles in there, while I can also just keep planning more because of like the oddball placement. Oh, am I gonna live? Yeah, I got out. That's cool. Lucio's gonna die because he refused to switch to speed boost. Oh shit, no, Diva, no! It's not worth it, no! Oh. I even got a last kill. I ran in with the L2, and it does a heap of damage, guys. You can't, like, if you can get that little strat down where you charge the enemy with a fully charged orb and just release it in their face, it seems to work out pretty well most of the time. That's the only time where I think you'll actually win a solo Symmetra fight is when you do that. As you can see, we're on this point. I like this point for Symmetra. I feel like you have a lot of place to place turrets. Plus, there's that little lane off to the left there. That's great for setting stuff up. But if the team's really dumb or like really just doesn't want to punish your shit, you drop turrets right there. But my teammate helped me out. Thank you, Reaper. Thank you, everyone who kind of helped me on that point. I would have died if that was not the case. And since I only took shield damage, I got it all right back. It just recharged. That's another cute thing about Symmetra is that she has shield. So half her health can be taken away and there's no consequence. You just get it back. As you can see, I'm setting up the kill room because I'm like, oh, they have a Tracer. Tracer loves to go in this one lane. I'm going to put stuff there. And now I'm just going crazy right there. I was trying to gank because I thought that Junkers was going to help me, but he didn't come up with me. Oh, well. I remember some of the gameplay, but not all of it, of course. So it's kind of funny. Like, you'll see me react to my own content, which is just silly. Just trying to get rid of that Torb's turret. Don't end up getting it. Tracer's trying to deal with my turrets, but I'm just going to pull him right back up. Because I want her doing that. I want her going out of her way to try to destroy those turrets for no reason. Because no one was going in there except for her. So it was literally like debilitating her while the rest of her team is just trying to like focus on things. You know, I just noticed that Tracer was just casually sitting up there just shooting at her teammates, probably doing no damage. But hey, I could have taken advantage of that. Yeah, I'm not shy about fighting Tracers, guys. I'm not. Because she keeps going to my kill rooms. Oh, look, she's trying to fire down upon me. That was a pretty good move. That was a good rewind. Nothing's going to come of it, of course, because if she came down here, she'd be, like, triple walled and die. Because she's too squishy. She's got that 150 health pool, you know what I'm saying? And all that chip was for naught because I have shields. I'm going to shield them back. So I'm starting to push up a little bit with my turrets because that's where the momentum of the game's going. I'm going to punish this Reinhardt. Got like a fully charged shot off on him. I managed to get some damage on the characters in there. Not that it meant anything. Lucio drops his ult, so I'm good. I'm good as hell. But yeah, it's very, very frantic when you're playing Symmetra 2. Like, this is non-stop action, and I've been alive the whole time. Like, it's pretty great. It's pretty damn great. And I think that's the end of the content, actually, guys. That was the Immortal match. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments. Like here's the thing, guys. Sorry for my stuttering and speech impediments and whatnot. Whatnot. You put a comment down there. I'm very, very likely to respond to it. The channel, as it currently stands, is very, very small. So the likelihood of me responding to your comments, very, very high. So please say something in the comments. If you have any questions, I will gladly answer them. Peace out. And I hope to see you in the comments.